They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So take a look at this picture. Prime Minister Modi, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, and the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval all in one frame. Jaishankar briefing the Prime Minister, who was patiently listening, and the NSA Ajit Doval joining in and at the same time scanning around with hawk eyes. Just can't keep the spy out of him. This moment was caught on camera before the start of the G20 summit in Indonesia. It went viral for some reason. A similar picture was taken during the BRICS summit. In fact, on many important occasions, the trio can always be seen together. So, what's so special about these pictures anyway? Well, in one frame, it shows India's dynamic geopolitics and foreign policy, the one avenue where the trio often converges. But how was this trio formed?
As I have said directly and publicly, this is not an era of war.
Somewhere Europe has to grow out of the mindset that Europe's problems are the world's problems, but the world's problems are not Europe's problems.
We have to punch not above our weight, we have to punch not below our weight, we have to increase our weight and punch proportionately.
When Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister in 2014, he was still new amongst the other senior and seasoned leaders of his party. Many senior BJP leaders were promoted to the ranks of cabinet ministers, including Sushma Swaraj, who was given the Foreign Affairs Ministry. So, from 2014 to 2019, Modi himself became a foreign policy prime minister, making a total of 49 international trips in his first term, before the general elections. But he had one pick. To shape India's military and security policy, he picked India's most decorated spy, a man who'd proven himself on the field and at the desk, Ajit Doval. Doval was appointed the NSA in 2014 and since then has stayed India's longest-serving NSA. Under his watch, India adopted his doctrine of defensive offense.
Once they know that India has shifted its gear from the defensive mode to defensive offense, they will find that it is unaffordable for them. You can do one Mumbai, you may lose Balochistan.
But even with a legend like Ajit Doval at the helm, India was still missing a piece of the puzzle. To communicate its new doctrine and policies to the international audiences, India needed someone more refined and articulate, someone who can speak a diplomat's tongue and balance out the aggression of the defensive offense doctrine. So, Modi's pick was Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar, a trusted ally he had worked with, who had negotiated the 1-2-3 Civil Nuclear Cooperation Deal with the United States in 2006 to 2007. Jaishankar was also involved in the planning of Modi's maiden visit to the United States in September 2014, which was reciprocated by Obama's visit to India in 2015 on the Republic Day. From 2015 to 2018, S. Jaishankar was India's Foreign Secretary. The Modi-Jaishankar-Doval trio's first major assignment came knocking on the door in June 2017, when both India and China were locked in a border standoff.
China have been locked in a border standoff at the Doklam Plateau, a parcel of land claimed by Bhutan and China.
The Chief of Army Staff General Bipin Rawat was personally monitoring the ground situation in Sikkim under the guidance of NSA Ajit Doval. As the situation on the ground seemed to be escalating from both sides, Jaishankar took over the diplomatic line parallelly without any help from the Chinese ambassador. Finally, after 73 days, on 28 August 2017, India and China both agreed to pull back their troops, with China announcing that it would stop its road work in Doklam. This was the first instance when the trio worked together on a major assignment and resolved it successfully. It was a huge political, moral, and diplomatic victory for India. In March 2019, S. Jaishankar was awarded India's fourth highest civilian award, the Padma Shri, and on 31st May 2019, he was appointed as India's External Affairs Minister, with Jaishankar in South Block, which houses the MEA, and Ajit Doval reappointed as the National Security Advisor for the second time. Modi's Strategic Security and Foreign Affairs team was now in place for the second term. Their addition resulted in a direct decrease in Modi's workload on the foreign policy front during his second term from 2019 to 2024, where, unlike his first term, he only went on 29 international trips. Since then, both Doval and Jaishankar retained their ranks in the 2024 cabinet as well. But the fact that such a trio exists today is not some coincidence. The seeds that bore this trio were sown a long while back. It was the brainchild of a visionary leader who foresaw the changing times 2 decades back. The post of NSA was created in 1998 under former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Vajpayee had realized that global diplomacy and foreign policy should not be solely in the hands of the External Affairs Ministry. That's why he set up a parallel stream of foreign policy, a power center in the country, who would directly act as the Prime Minister's counsel. But there was a technical error. The true potential of the NSA was never actually realized due to a technical error in choosing a capable candidate for the post. For a long time, NSA was just seen as another word for a diplomat, which is why 3 of the 5 NSAs have come from the Indian Foreign Service. The IFS is a diplomatic civil service under the External Affairs Ministry with no real hands-on experience on matters of internal and national security, contrary to the acronym itself. It was first understood when M.K. Narayanan, former IB chief, was made the NSA between 2005 and 2010. Him and Ajit Doval remain the only 2 people to have come from a police and intelligence background. This realization was a big step. In today's global affairs, NSA has emerged as another power center, which, unlike the External Affairs Ministry, is more low-profile, controls intelligence, and takes into account national and regional security, and can therefore incorporate a different line of thought in the foreign policy. In the last decade or so, the Modi, Jaishankar, Doval trio has navigated India through some very tough geopolitical times. This includes the ongoing wars, where India has time and again urged to go back to dialogue and diplomacy. But their most difficult assignment came on 30th August 2022, when 8 Navy veterans were arrested on charges of spying for Israel.
8 Indian veterans have been sentenced to death in Qatar. The Indian government says it is shocked.
On 26 October 2023, they were awarded the death penalty by Qatar's Court of First Instance. It was by far the Modi government's toughest diplomatic test, and that's because Qatar historically has never released a pardoned person convicted of spying for an adversary country. While diplomatic efforts were carried out by the Ministry of External Affairs under S. Jaishankar, back-channel talks were led by the NSA Ajit Doval. PM Modi personally intervened and appealed to the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and eventually, on 12 February 2024, they were all released. As the world moves ahead in turbulent times, the onus is on India to play a key role, and the trio will be at the helm of it.